On this installment of Creative Cabin Fever, I get to meet Andy. Now, Andy has released two beautiful singles. The first one is Hermit, which was just apt as hell during this lockdown situation, because I think all of us were feeling that in our wars. The second one is Housewife, which is how I feel most days at home, going like, my little tiny tyrant is the one who dictates my life. So, Andy, how are you today?
Hello, how are you? Good, all good. Excited for this interview. It's been a while since I've kind of discussed anything with anyone that's interested in music besides kids.
Yeah,
So,
I know, like both of us are obviously moms, and we'll talk about that during the interview because I think that's really interesting. But
yeah,
yeah, these interviews are great because they're bringing me closer to different people, and it's wonderful to talk to another adult. So certainly, I feel the
yeah,
same.
exactly.
So, as I stated, you released two singles during lockdown. How have you found lockdown for releasing music? Like, what are the changes that you've had to go through, or how have you found it as a situation?
I think the benefit of it in some ways would be to do with the promoting online promoting side of it. Like about 10 years ago, or even less. Like I was in a band, and it was all about the kind of live music scene, and I really just enjoyed the buzz of it, and that's what I kind of miss. And now I find that the whole industry has changed, and it's all about like push your song, push your image, push your look and all, and does take the fun out of it. But because of lockdown, I'd be sitting at home, and everyone's picking up new things and new projects. So what better time to have your project, your single, like my first single. So it was pretty good, and it was all recorded already. But having to bounce back between the sound engineer, he also Dan McKenna, he recorded it, and he plays guitar on the tracks as well, but with the tracks I released. So kind of doing voice notes and WhatsApp stuff with all the musicians, which are friends of mine, and I played with them before, so we have a good relationship. But it's kind of hard to get some stuff across on the phone. So you're like, no, I meant this, I meant that, and I'm like, well, I think it would sound better this way. But I kind of already for the first release, Hermit, I had an idea of what I wanted to sound like, and I had kind of guide tracks of different artists and stuff for uh, different segments of the song. Like I think the start of it is like a loop of just a vocal. I kind of even like said, oh, I wanted it to sound like a this exact thing in a Drake song, and I wouldn't even be really into Drake. I know he's a big kind of artist for a lot of people that are into R&B and stuff, but I just kind of wanted to have that loop at the start to make it kind of sound robotic. Um, and then I had I don't know if you know Beachwood Sparks. Have you ever heard that band? Yeah, there was another kind of just referencing that I wanted to sound like, but most of it just we played around with and kind of got that sound from it. So I'm happy with how it turned out, and with the release, like I did have certain goals that I wanted people to cover. Um, and there's a few people that spoke about the song and did a review, like and like so like Hot Preston, Myler Nine, and Last Mixtape. Tape. So, but you're always kind of aiming for more. I was like, I won't be happy unless I get a review from this person or this. And each time was pretty happy and a good time to release. So
Yeah,
worked out
no,
well. The first single. Anyway, I'll let you get a word in.
no. I'm meant to be in the background. I barely talk. Like it's all about
No,
you.
not at all. You're not in the background kind of person. you know,
I,
from what I've got taken so far.
you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested. Obviously, you mentioned that one of the great things about lockdown is discovering new stuff about yourself. So, what have you discovered about yourself? What new things have you started doing in this moment in time?
I always wanted to play electric guitar, but I just didn't think I was badass enough for it. I was like, since being a mom, but I kind of got back into my like grunge buzz, and I got a Fender Jaguar, and I just always loved how Kurt Cobain's guitars sounded and stuff. So I wanted like that kind of raw, grungy sound, and because my songs would be quite spacious, and I wouldn't be like the best musician. I always have like a basic that I'd write on acoustic guitar, or like a weird little riff, and I'd usually sing. Like I'm more so a singer and a writer than a musician, you know. But I was like, it's about time that I started to learn how to play electric guitar, but it's going slow. I'm sure my neighbors love me, like, but it's fun getting different sounds and different effects, you know, even from like the smallest little riffs. But yeah, it's been good to kind of gain the confidence to play that. Now, when I go to play it live, I don't know how I'll be. Might still just sing and let the rest of them play so I can get lost in the song. So I really like enjoy doing that when I'm singing. I really feel like I go into another world, and I find that hard when you're concentrating on playing kind of intricate stuff, you know.
You know,
So
it's
yeah,
very hard to balance both. Like you have to have like
yeah.
so much confidence. I can't
Some
even
musicians are
imagine.
amazing. Yeah, just don't know how to do it, you know. But sure, yeah, I've learned that about myself, and I guess I don't know, just routine kind of makes you get through the day, I guess. But I know a lot of people are finding it hard, and it's good to pick up anything, even like a new sport, or try new things, like even if it's painting or people fucking baking, lots of stuff and
That was
taking
first
different things.
lockdown. That was first lockdown. That was all about
Yeah,
bacon.
yeah, it was, yeah, but not me. I'm a terrible baker. Yeah. So, but
um,
it's good to get creative. It makes you feel amazing when you're feeling down or just needs that lift, you know. So, I'd highly recommend that for anyone that wants to change some routine in their life.
yeah, absolutely. The sun's coming back out now, so it's time for me to go back to my
Yeah.
garden and make sure it's nice for the summer, you know, stuff like
Oh,
that.
lovely. Yeah, absolutely. I've already moved into a new place, so I definitely have like plans for the like it's an apartment, so but it's quite big the balcony, so I'm definitely going to do a lot to the garden and stuff. Like I love a good garden. Nature just makes you feel great, like relaxed, you know.
Yeah,
So
super important. I volunteer in a community garden around here, so as much as I can
ah,
get down there, I'm like down there. We build a
class.
stage there as well, so we have events like whenever it's possible, and it's just
So
amazing.
good. Yeah. Oh, that's great. It always makes a place look so pretty though, you know. You need that like just makes a place pop when there's a lot of like green and floral and stuff around. Like even indoors I'm trying to every time I'm out I'm like another plant, another plant, another plant. But I don't do it. Not until it's covered.
Yeah, it's perfect. We'll get there.
Yeah.
So I like to find out where people got their craft. So where did you fall in love with singing? How did that happen?
I'm singing since I'm really young in school. Like I was in choirs and always trying to get that high soprano bit, and you know, I always kind of wanted to be center stage. Like I'm quite shy when I'm speaking to people, but I'm definitely a diva when I get on stage. So um, I loved all different kind of harmonies when I was a kid. I used to because a lot of people ask me that aren't singers are like, oh, how did you learn to harmonize? And I'd just be singing along to everything on the radio, like that was on when I was a kid, and my little talker, or like I'd sing, like record myself and then sing along to it, like with the harmony and stuff, even as a very young age. But my dad is is a good singer, like he's a really good singer, and there's good music in my family. My brothers were in the Hot Sprockets, so they were a good influence to me as well. And just always having something on, going to school, like they'd always have the Beatles albums on, or um, like Sympathy for the Devil. Used to count the amount of who's in it and stuff like that in the car and play little games. And so even though like it was in the background, I was like, it's not cool. Like I'm cool. My brothers are like rockers and I'm not a rocker yet. I was listening to which I loved at the time, like Destiny's Child and Christina Aguilera and all that when I was a kid. But secretly, I wanted to be, a rocker. So once I got to the age where I didn't care anymore, I just went for it and started listening to all the music that my brothers were listening to. So they're all definitely a huge influence on me growing up and getting into music.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, as I said, I had a funny feeling my bed would arrive mid-interview. So
Ah,
we
shit.
are in a situation where there is a delivery van outside of my house.
Ah, Okay, well, you can say.
Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pause this interview.
Yeah.
So we interrupted this broadcast for a bed delivery from Harvey Norman. So shout out to those guys at Harvey Norman for actually coming in and installing a bed and ripping a bed apart with a hammer.
Absolute legend.
So that's a first on my interview.
I sat here enjoying the show.
Yeah, I was like, oh, there's these guys and they're just here taking a bed. Oh, look, that's just the joys of it. So I think, anyway, we were at the point where you were explaining that your brothers, obviously, and your father being such good singers. And then you were like, brilliant, I want to be a rock star. And you waited till you were the right age. And then you became a rock star, which I think is phenomenal.
Yeah, well, I was doing my leaving cert as well. And Lola, that I started off doing Andy with as a two-piece. She was also in my other band, the Stony Brokes, and they had their own band and wanted a new singer. So she was in my school. She came in transition year, and at that stage, I was kind of getting the goo for like different bands and just kind of changing my style up and wanting to perform not in a choir or in a musical, a skill musical, because I could constantly hear my brothers like jamming out and having people over, and I was like, I want this life. This life is mad. What is it like? It looks so crazy. Like, so she was like, oh, turned around in class, like, oh, we need a new singer. And I was like, is that her way of saying like she wants me to sing in her band? So we just went and had a jam, and I think my first child like was only young, at the time, and then we went and we just clicked and we went from there. And then I met all the kind of huge scene from my brothers, and then just the likes of like New Secret Weapon and the Hassel Merchants and like G Star and all the Knockin' Stocking Heads. So they'd also be a huge influence on me. All those likes of bands, because getting to just see what the lifestyle was like and music performed live and talking to people about your interests and just what way to approach the music business and stuff like that. It's just a really like lovely group of people, and they were a community almost, so definitely shaped who I was as not only an artist but a person, and who I wanted to surround myself around, and just healthy relationships and stuff. So yeah, so
that's amazing.
Yeah, they're a huge, lovely, I'm sure great group of people, like, and they've done so much for me when I was in the band and for our band, the Stony Brokes, and then just getting different festivals, and then I was like, oh well, I might just kind of just start rambling with my own stuff while I'm playing in other bands. And I was singing for a lot of those bands, like kind of just back and singing to make the shows like push a bit, like with a vocal in the background. And I got like lots of experience doing that with all the other bands and getting to see what was like, festival bands and what it was like to go on tour and stuff. And I was like, I want to do this myself. Like, not just I want to like sing my own songs, do my own thing, but also like jam with all my friends. Like, so yeah, definitely it's good buzz. And now it feels like it was so long ago. Like I'm talking like I'm ancient, so this lockdown, it feels like 10 years.
It really does though. Like so much has happened in this year. I still can't believe that it's almost exactly a year. Like today last year I was at Fern & Jane, which effectively would have been the last.
No way! And I was freaked, like, and fair play to them, like they still went ahead and had a good amount. Like they probably would have had more people there. But it was probably the best last night I had,
I was also there for my last night. That's mental.
Yeah, it was so good. Yeah, because I know Emily and all those from like Rockskill years ago. So I'd be friends with some of them, and Neve, the drummer, and it was great. They've come so far, and they'd also be a huge influence on me now as well. Like just in terms of like writing and for that kind of push in songs and make things big and that big sound, and they've just come so far. I've really watched them grow over the years, and it's amazing. Like so proud of them. That album was unreal. Like just blew me away.
Yeah,
Great for going on a walk when you're on a rager.
it's the perfect after breakup fuel as well, because it makes you
Yeah,
really
totally.
reconsider everything. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
no,
some
it's
amazing bands have come out of all that kind of scene, like from all over Ireland. We've a huge amount of talent here. It's just insane
it is.
in this country.
It's such a like a joy to like be in my position where I actually get to meet all these incredible people, yourself included. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
And hear all the amazing music and be like,
Yeah.
you guys are so talented. Why doesn't everyone know you? Because that's what I'm
Oh
about.
no. Yeah, that's it. Just everyone's like we're all huge supporters of each other, and we're all like almost competing with each other. The whole like online thing, and it's just I think that's just a load of bullshit. I just like really enjoy music, and I think for people should go back to just enjoying live music and the creativeness of it and support each other. And it's not about how many followers someone has and this and that, you know. But you know, that's just my opinion. But I definitely can't wait to just get back into performing and meeting people and meeting musicians and music lovers again, you
Yeah, no, it's tough. I think we're
know.
all missing it more than anything. So one of the questions I
Yeah.
do often ask is good gig memories, bad gig memories, good venues, bad venues, whatever you want to put in there. It is your story, your interview. So
Um I've had probably like a lot of good gig memories. It's always like the after party of it, which is like the fun part of it as well. But like it's also not the fun, so not so fun part of it. You know, I've had people where I've been on stage and like someone took a picture of me like when I was bending over to set something up, and like they took a picture of my knickers, and I was like, "Can you delete the photo?" This was when I was in a cover band a few years ago. And I was like, "Just delete the photo, please." I was really rude about it. And then we have other stage divers who are up with you and want to really get a part of it, like, you know, and that was fun, you know, when they're up. Or I've jumped on stage with many bands over the years, like just hopping up and getting asked to sing or something and getting real into it. Like, but overall, a pretty good memories. I can't even think. Even like going to see bands like the likes of New Secret Weapon. I remember them at playing at No Place Like Home. I think it was 2011, and just like Tea Party reminded me of all that kind of stuff, and I got back into listening to them. But I was just blown away. They were wearing like all different suits. We played it that year, and I think my Lola, the guitarist, my friend, she's also plays guitar, and Andy, she was wearing like a penguin suit, and it was just a big sweaty, messy festival. It was just amazing. And I was like, "What is this?" I think it was only like 21. And I was like, "I can't believe this is what it's like." It was so innocent. I was like, "These are all just mad," and I love it. I just love the chaos of it all. Like, so I definitely fell in love with just all that kind of scene, um, at that stage. Um, but yeah, I've had good memories. I played a gig before where the child from the Scrubs jumped up. Funny enough, it was the same time where someone in the crowd took a picture of of my underwear. So oh, what else has happened? I've just had some mad gigs where like our bass someone came up and plugged us out, plugged out our bass, and just that was a cringe moment, you know. Oh. But it's all for the fun of it, like it's all the good stories
yeah.
to tell.
And it's great to
I can't
have those
even
experiences,
pinpoint
you
an
know?
exact gig, like, you know, it's just some of it is a blur as well. I get like when I perform, I feel like I get lost, and it's like this kind of euphoric feeling, and I feel like I'm coming down from that buzz, you know, every time I perform, and I kind of just like, what happened? I can't even remember. Like I went off in my own little world, like a lot of the time, which I love. It's great. Such a good
Yeah.
feeling.
Well, one of the hardest things for me at the moment is even though I'm getting all these live stream opportunities, because I don't know when we can kick off again, I'm getting hit with
Mm.
this performance blues that's really nearly knocking me for six. You know, it was a time where you're like, okay, well, I wait a few more months for a gig. It's not the end of the world. But now, because effectively it sort of is the end of the world as we knew it.
You know,
I'm just so depressed for weeks. Like I'll get really down on myself. I'll think I'm incapable of anything. It's really hitting me. So like I
yeah,
understand what you're talking about it all being a blur. And
yeah. Oh, it's sad. Yeah, I actually couple of just 3 months before lockdown hit, my brother passed away. So the first lockdown was like hell. I'm finding this one a bit better, even though it's like never ending. But that was like, okay, I'm gonna release music. It was like April, so it would have only been a couple of months after. So it gave me something to focus on. But I did find it so hard. Like obviously at that point with kind of feeling a bit better about things now. Like even though people are saying it's never ending, like I'm just looking forward to having music and friends again, because not having like a lot of people when you're going through grieving and stuff is very hard. Like but music definitely helped me through that and helped me grieve and helped me like connect to my brother again and stuff like that. What we would have liked to listen to or hearing his recordings and stuff like so. So it was a hard time. I know it's hard for a lot of people. Like I just don't know how they're all doing it, but we are because we're amazing people. Like we can get through it and figure out our ways to get through it and we'll get there eventually. But music definitely helps, I think.
absolutely. I just want to say I'm really sorry about your brother.
Oh
It's
no,
just the thing to
Friends taking
say.
an awful turn,
No,
taking a
no,
turn.
no.
And
But look, I was talking
I
about
won't start
my
weeping. Don't worry.
my depression, like let's just take it all out here. I think people should be more honest more often. It's one of the things I like most about myself is I just say it as it is instead of pretending everything's rosy all the time. It's not like.
Yeah, yeah. That's you should be honest. It's nice to be honest and pure.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that music is helping. I know it's something it's very hard to overcome. We're all grieving things in this moment in time, I think is the thing. So it's not only just
Yeah,
we're all grieving.
absolutely. Yeah, not just loss of I mean, I'm grieving so much stuff, like definitely gigs and friends and just connecting with people. And like we quickly got the EP done when the lockdown kind of opened back up in the summer. I was like, right, when are we free? Like, I was like, we're doing it then, we're doing it then. They're like, oh, maybe September. I was like, no, because we need to do it in August. Like, so we got it like we got it done. Like we had been jamming and then lockdown for like months went on. And then lucky that we just kind of got quick jams in and just fired on through. Like we did it in Wicklow in Bay Studios and like just went nailed it and then in a couple of days. So then all the other little bits kind of went on from there, just like mixing and passing over ideas and then doing stuff separately and stuff. But I'm so glad we got it done. Hopefully we
I'm
get some
so
other
glad
music.
you got it done.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's a good thing to work towards now, keep you going really, like when you have a, a goal for something to be released and a project to work on, like from behind the scenes and stuff. But just to like get people emailing you, getting gigs and stuff, and then they just get cancelled. They're like, oh, we got to do like a live performance in Chile over Christmas, so that was great. That was like my highlight of last year, I suppose. Having that like just a good record. They recorded loads of bands. I don't. Do you know Christina Quill that runs all? She puts on a lot of gigs for there anyway. She'd be friends with a lot of the new Secret Weapon group and all that kind of knock stocking heads, and she ran some of the stuff with that. Um, but yeah, we got to play a gig there in December. It was just getting back into it, even though there was no one there. It was just like the camera crew and stuff. They were like flirting with the camera and all. I'm like, there's someone else here. Let's get real into it. And I was like, is it okay if I look into the camera while I'm performing at times? I'm gonna freak you out.
yeah,
Just like
it's really
freaking them the
weird.
fuck
Like
out.
I was working in Cypress Avenue for December, so I was running 32 streams down there.
Wow, what? That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
There
I
was
got
so much going on. It was lovely, like to get that buzz again, because at the time when we were doing it, I know there was so much things on. I was like, oh, I want to catch this, I want to catch that. There's stuff going from like all different counties and different the bigger venues and all. Like it's great, just so good to see, and it
yeah.
reminds you like getting you back listening into Irish artists. Now I kind of have the opposite problem. I listen to Irish artists too much, and then I'm like, does anyone have any music recommendations? Like, please, I feel like I'm just listening to the same people all the time. Like, but there's been so much releases this year that they're just like we're firing through. Like, we really are. Like those the choice awards there. Like, there's just so many amazing artists. I would have been listening to a lot of those albums like last year during lockdown and started this year. Like some amount of talent. I'm sure you know because you get all the entries into you all the time.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, actually, most of the music I discover for myself. Not that many people reach out to me. Like, I don't really go
Oh,
looking for music submissions. That's only started happening since I started
yeah,
writing for Tomorrow's magazine, let's say. Before that, it was all me finding my music. How I do it is I
great.
walk around the park and I look for all the new stuff and I go into different groups and stuff. But yeah, if anyone's watching this and wants to send me music, feel free.
Yeah, I definitely have friends with new releases and stuff, so I'll definitely recommend. Like they've had a lot of stuff released, so if you haven't already covered them or they're your thing, like I'll definitely get them onto you. So
But I'm the same as you. All I listen to is Irish music. It's not even intentional. It's kind of with the job.
yeah,
There's not that much time, like,
I
you know?
know. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And I guess same as for yourself. So that's going to bring us on to the next question. Like being a mom in the music industry, there's just not enough time for me anyway. Do you know what I
I
mean? As
know. Yeah, I have so many half songs, like half finished songs. It's unbelievable. Like I feel like when I get together with the band, like that's the only really time I can. I'm like, is that good enough? It's the voice in the back of my head, and I'm like, yeah, use that. And I'm like, oh well, I have this little riff that I think might go, but like not the best. So playing guitar, I'm like, but you do it there. So kind of just getting stuff done. I've so much unfinished things, like, but I really just need to get even at home. Like everyone's saying they're getting so much done, but when you have kids, like it's just you just don't have time. People don't realize they think that you just sit on your arse all day. Like really, like they need intense amount of attention, like just to keep them amused and all of that kind of stuff, and just picking up, especially after a toddler, picking up after a toddler all day, like very time consuming. I'm sure Uh, but I find a balance, like it kind of goes back to the release that I had there with Housewives. That's like a constant reminder to be like, you're more than just like obviously I love being a mom and it's great, but it's like telling myself that I'm more than just a mother and what people expect me to be, and kind of gives me that, like when I sing it, like it's quite an emotional song for me, like so I get into it, I'm like I am more and I am a singer and I have worked and we have worked, we're not just moms. Like I was talking to my friend Brona Kyo, she released an EP there called Pack My Bags. I'm definitely going to recommend uh, you to her or to each other, get you connected with her EP was great. I sang on like just back and singing on two of the tracks, I think, but we were like I was like I'm a mom. Like it's never gonna be seen as cool in the music industry. She was like, "What? You aren't cool, you know?" She's like, "You need to push that." I was like, "Yeah, but once someone kind of hears you're a mom or a ma, like they're just like, all right, yeah." I kind of like obviously not my friends and stuff, but you get the kind of same reaction. You're just like, okay, so you're branded as a mom and that's it, like which isn't true. People should tell themselves different all the time, like so. That's basically what Housewives is kind of about. I wrote that years ago, um, just as an acoustic song. And there's actually an acoustic song with just me and Lola, the girl, my friend that plays guitar on the track. So it's quite bare. And at the time, I was feeling real low and thinking of like my mom and stuff for my grand, like what it would have been like for people back then, like and societal expectations of a woman. And I was like, I'm more than this, I'm not just gonna pick up after the kids or clean up after everybody and stuff like that. So, and then when I started doing my own stuff, I was like, oh, I kind of want to bring that song back out again and approach it with something different, but with more power and as a full band and have like that heaviness and rawness to it later on in the song, which is the music kind of works as the strength in the song. I know the lyrics are really bit sad and depressing, and it's like telling someone that, oh, like, I don't know what way the audience see it, but it's like, oh yeah, this is all I do and this is me, and oh bless you. But yeah, basically the music speaks for me in the song, where it's like the power in it and the vocal rawness is the emotion of it's like we're more and we have worth, and don't forget to
I think
be like yourself, and don't forget to go back to what you love, and you're not just branded as a certain thing in all sorts. Like people could relate to it with anything, not just being a mother or a mom. Anyone can relate to it, really, to not stick with what a person has branded you as.
and not to lose yourself in someone else, regardless. Like my mom
Yeah.
always says to me, like, um, don't get too lost on your son because he's only on lend to you. So if you're
Yeah,
not out there making something of yourself when he moves out, who are you? You'll be just this
absolutely.
lost thing.
That's great. That's some great advice. Yeah, definitely. They take so much of your time, and you really want to like do the best you can, but there's only so much you can do.
Plus, if
Um,
we're not living our dreams, Andy, how will our kids know it's okay to live theirs? Like, if we're not
yeah.
leading by example and being our full selves, our true selves, and chasing those dreams and showing them that it's possible. Like, I mean, my kid hates interviews and gigs there, right? Because they take me away
Oh,
from him, right? He's like,
yeah.
why are you doing that? But one day he'll
Uh,
grow up and he'll be like, geez, that was really cool.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I hope. I also have like a tween, and she's at that age where I'm just not feeling like, even like, I'm like, listen to my new single, and she's like, yeah, I'm like, when did that happen? You loved me for so many years. Like, and now she just like changed, her hormones just switched, and she's like, right, Ma, you're not Phil. You're not Phil. Maybe in a few years she'll kind of start, I'm hoping, get into music that I like. We can connect to that. But like, I always try kind of get into her stuff, and I'll always take time, and some of the stuff she listens to is good, and I'll try show her something that I think she might listen to. Like I'm listening to Phoebe Bridgers now. Do you know the singer? That everyone's, yeah. She's amazing. Like, but I definitely think like maybe teens or something could connect to her. Like, if she's doing something different to, I think anyway, she's doing something different to a lot of what the pop artists are. She's very raw and kind of rock, and uh, her writing is just something that I like. Her writing technique and style is something that I haven't heard before. I really, really like it. Like, so definitely recommend. That's someone that isn't Irish now.
It's okay.
So,
That'd be a nice
but
change.
good. Yeah, she's got some good releases at the moment. So definitely give her a listen if you want to get lost in some lyrics and just rock out the songs.
Yeah, I have to break in that new bed. So I reckon a dance party over Twitch is exactly what's going to be happening tonight.
I would say though, Mia, she likes idols. That's one thing. Do you know that band? Yeah, that's at least one thing we connect on musically.
Yeah, no, Keanu loves Thumper and New Secret Weapon.
Ah, yeah, Jumper. Yeah, I love them as well. Yeah, so good. I'd say a lot of them bands for the EP now, the next few songs that I'm going to be releasing, would have a good influence on the sound. It's mad because like some of them are just so sad, the songs, and the other ones are a totally different style, and I'm hoping that mixes in well. But sure, we'll see when it's all out as a whole project and a piece of work that
But
will
I think that's
hopefully.
amazing. You're being the sum of all your parts. Like, not every day is
Yeah,
cheery, not every day is quiet, not every day is sad, not every day is low energy,
yeah,
not every. That's amazing. I love that.
yeah,
Why would you want to be only one thing on an EP? If I was a musician, which I am not, I would want to be my sum of all parts if I was able to
yeah,
release something, you know?
yeah. It is definitely like that. I have to say. I was conscious of the fact of the my debut release, Hermit. Like, that's kind of a sad song, but it does have kind of different samples and sounds in it. That would be different, but to Housewife. But Housewife they were both acoustic songs originally. But Housewife would be quite organic. Like, there's no synths or samples. It's all just like clean classic instruments, and quite like reverby and stuff. But the other songs now, they get quite heavy, and even one of the songs is kind of just like some R&B, and it's kind of like sassy, like, so I don't know what people are gonna take from it. Like what it is, I'm definitely genre fluid when it comes to music, like which I think everyone should be. And there's no back to like being having an image or a brand. I just don't like being told that I'm only one thing, you know. So
Just be yourself because everyone
we'll
else is
see what
taken.
happens. We'll see what happens in the reviews. I'm interested to see what people think now. Um, with the whole piece, you know, whole piece of work as a whole. Sure, yeah. I don't even know what the first question was. I'm kind of going on.
No, I love it. This is exactly how it's supposed to be. So my next question is going to be local artists that you would recommend I should be listening to right now.
Well, I said earlier, Brona Kyo, she just released Pack My Bags EP. It's so beautiful. I'm not just saying that because I sang one or two harmonies on it. One of the girls from Wyverlingo sang it as well, Saoirse. But the EP is just beautiful. She went traveling, and I feel like it just takes you on her whole journey. It's a gorgeous EP to listen to while you're on a walk, or just if you want to just feel nurtured and comforted if you have any trauma in your life. She just is a beautiful writer, I have to say. Um, I listened to Nilo's album. Like you probably did you listen to that? Yeah, and like Denise Chalet and all. I'm loving a lot of rap and R&B again. I have to say, I just go in and out of phases. Like last lockdown would have been real dark, and now I'm kind of like getting my hip hop and rap on and stuff. I like By Curious and stuff. I always go back to the same kind of albums and like New Secret Weapon and Fernand Jane. Listen to all those kind of. Well, it's obvious for me and probably obvious for me and you. I don't know if it's obvious for other people, but they're definitely albums you need to listen to and that you'll go back into. Like, there's Kinsey as well, and you know Susan O'Neill's son. She's very good. I just loads, man. I just listen to so much, especially with music platforms like social media and stuff. We have so much there now. It's great. Like you can just take it all. Like we feel so greedy when it comes to listening to new Irish music. There's so much of it. Like I'm listening to like Wayne Soper's. He was in the singer from the Sprockets. His new stuff was great, and I love how he's totally gone away from like the rock and roll thing, and it's like bedroom 80s pop, you know. Gosh, I can't think at the moment. You know when you have loads.
Perfect. That's enough. Really, that is way more than anyone else. Most people are there going.
Yeah, and Wyverlingo's album came out. I can't get enough of that as well. Like they'll be friends in one too, but it's a fucking gorgeous piece of work. Like, and I love that it's really different to their first album, which is class. You can just see how, like we were saying about Fern and Jane, I love the difference of each album or EP, like just seeing how people have progressed and gone into different styles, but like really grown as musicians. Because I would have like hung out with them when they all kind of started off, like so. It's just like I feel like a proud mom, like to everybody, even though we're all like the same age or we're friends at different stages, like but yeah, and like New Secret Weapon, I'm really excited to hear any of their new music. And I saw that they announced a gig and stuff. Like, just all of those would have been a huge influence on me, like over the years. And even though I'm gigging with them, like just looking at them on stage, like, oh, I love them all.
I know,
and they're great people as well. You know, they've done so much for me and given me lots of gigs and stuff over the years. Like, so, that's kind of who I'm listening to. And I always go back to my roots, I suppose.
yeah. I think it's really important. We should all really be listening to like as much Irish music as possible, like and helping each other and nourishing the beauty of the Irish music industry because it's such a widespread, incredible masterpiece as a whole, like, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's so much, and there's so many little like there's so many communities for like folk or like heavy like metal or pop like or kind of new sound like AMAC. Have you listened to any AMAC stuff? Like I just love the color that comes from her and there's a whole like hip hop rap scene that I'm just not part of. I'm like, I need to get in there. Like I'm loving Kojak as well at the moment. Like they're just so cool. Like all of that stuff. I'm like, I've been on festivals and I've met these people and buzzed with them and all, but I'm like, just want to get into like their writing style and see where it comes from and like, who knows, I might even do a fucking hip hop and G, like, you know, all that stuff I kind of mess at home, and I'm like, why does it have to be a mess? Like, take yourself serious, and or don't take yourself serious. I don't a lot. Like people would know me for that. I'm quite silly, but even your silly songs, you should release them. Like, because someone's got to relate to it some way or another. You know, there's so much music out there that you can relate to, and who knows, who'll be listening to your stuff. But for
Absolutely.
now, I'm like sad emo Amy, like all my songs are quite sad and that's what people see, but then when they meet me when I'm out, I'm just like buzzed and happy, you know. So I think music is a great way of expressing like what you really want to say. Like, and I don't even think I feel that way, but subconsciously I'm obviously feeling crap a lot of the time, you know? Especially now, you know.
Yeah, look, this moment in time, I don't think is kind to anyone. I don't think there's anyone out there that's doing particularly well. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
affecting all of
Oh
us
yeah.
differently. It's making me loopy. Like, do you know?
Yeah. Some people are smashing it though as well. Like I just feel like I'm getting schooled by like the younger musicians now, like that just have this huge online following. And I'm like, how do they do it? Like I just don't have the
Well, they aren't
time.
raising two children, okay?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think like even people that I've gone to for advice and stuff, they're like some of the Irish bands that are doing better, and I would have come with them when they started off. I'm like, how do you do this? And they're like, why have people doing that for me? And I'm like, what? I'm doing all this at home, like doing like all of like the PR and stuff. Like I had a Hazy Lake. She was helping me with some of the stuff like release and stuff. But, like a lot of it, I'm like, how do you do this? Like, or how do you get on Spotify editorials and all this playlist stuff? And like, I just thought you just end up there or they pick you if they like you or whatever. But no, there's so many tactics to the whole thing, which
Yeah.
is soul destroying. Like it drains you. I'm just like, I want to get out and just fucking perform and go mad and just enjoy music and stop worrying about all that kind of stuff. Like,
I know. And then it just depends like what way you want to do it. Like I'm incredibly hard on myself as well. I'm like, I should be doing more. I should be like, and then I
yeah,
was like, no, like, like
yeah.
you're doing plenty. Like give
Yeah, you
yourself
kind of
a
I
break.
get like that as well. I'd be quite hard on myself, and then people like my friends, music friends or whoever, like you should. This is what you've done. Like you've released music, like. And then when you look back, you're like, you did it during lockdown, and like your brother only passed away, and you have two kids. And at the time, I had to move back in with parents and sleeping on the sofa for like a year, and that was all during the whole year. And I was like, yeah. And I look back now, and now I'm like, yeah, I did release it, and I'm gonna release more music, and I have my own place again. And you know, you kind of need to just draw a line and show pros and cons and what you've achieved, and remind yourself that you've done a lot. Like you know, everybody doesn't have to be doing amazingly well, and just you should celebrate the small goals, the small achievements, because when you see them all together, then you're like, shit, you fucking killed it.
You did
Yeah.
though. You absolutely killed it. Like, so
Yeah.
those two singles come with two incredible music videos. Most bands out there haven't been able to do music video. And do you know what I mean? So the fact that you're even able to
Yeah.
do that is amazing. Do you want to talk
Well,
to me
I
about
love.
those videos?
I feel like yeah. A lot of the time now, people be just scrolling through like YouTube. It's a thing where they always have to have a video on the concept. So, a girl that I used to go to school with, um, she like I remember being in geography class and we used to mess doing little drawings and I'd like write a little rapper song to it, but she was just real good at sketching and like she'd close her eyes and do a sketch and so oh my gosh, she's class. And then I hadn't spoken to her in so long, and we just connected through that. I saw she was putting up like some animation and she did it for a band that was a friend of hers, and I was like, yeah, actually, I'll just do animation. Like I was focusing on shit. I need to do it the next lockdown, but I need to get the EP done. But how am I going to get a photo shoot done? Like I've used like recycle photo shoots that I just got done by ruthless imagery, like the February or the January just before lockdown, and then I'm like, all right, I'm going to use it this the start of this year now for this next release, But yeah, she kind of, I had a concept of like colors in my head for how I was feeling, and I like kind of see certain music in color, I don't know, like lots of people kind of said that they would have thought of certain colors when they heard the song, and I said that to her then, and she kind of just bounced ideas off me, and with the housewife video, like just she made up a character, like I made up a character through song, but she like done it through sketch and stuff, and yeah, we kind of just bounced ideas off each other, and I loved it. I was like, go for it too if you want, like the more trippy the better, and we kind of like went for the classic like um 50s kind of housewife stuff, and I was watching loads of old things on YouTube, like ads and stuff, and I just thought it was mad, like some of the advertisements back in the day, and how they just think women are just simple at the time. Like, oh, it was crazy. Like, so I went through all that kind of stuff with her, and I was working with another artist as well, Aaron, from Main Stage Design. He did the cover work. I was like, how am I going to do this now? I was like, oh, shit, I'm after getting two artists, and I love both of their work. I was like, whoopsie, like how? There's no way. Their styles are so different to each other. And I was like, you know what? I just love the both of them, that I'm gonna just combine it into the whole concept of the housewife. And I love the cover work of the housewife, like who he created. He actually like sketched it out and he drew it himself, and then put it into like, I don't know, whatever it is, some sort of graphic design. I have no clue what they do, but and then I got them to connect. I was like, they like each other's ideas, and I had the idea of having like a bluish kind of skin tone with the housewife, and they both kind of put it into the video and into the cover, like just kind of, because I didn't want people to think I was a rockabilly artist or anything like that, when you kind of associate with kind of pin up style. Like I love it. Like I'd wear a red lip all the time and stuff. I'm like, people probably think that I'm like pin up with something or rockabilly. But yeah, it worked out in the end. So I'm happy with how the artwork worked. And Aaron's actually done the cover, which I love. And tones and the textures in the EP cover. I just can't wait for people to see it. It's gorgeous, like so nice. So um and like I wanted it to be just one simple, like far away image, like because I just wanted to have a statement of it for the Theatre Award thing. It's all kind of based on mental health, the EP. So I'm excited to see what people think of it and take from it.
I'm very excited to hear it and see it. Like it all sounds so
Yeah.
amazing. Like the two tracks so far I've adored. So
Oh, great. That's great. Yeah, hopefully people like it. I'm glad somebody does anyway. Somebody's interested.
nobody else. Like it's the same with my
No,
interviews. It's like if one
yeah,
person
just
watches
me and
in.
you. As long as I get clearance from you, that's fine.
No, loads of people love them. They're great songs, and I love the idea that it's about mental health. So, like, especially right now, right? Because it's
Yeah.
accidentally what we keep falling back on in this interview anyway. Usually they're way cheerier, but look, it is what
Yeah.
it is. Do you know what I mean? So,
Like the two songs weren't actually written during lockdown, like sure I wrote Housewife like years ago, and I would have been quite like young, and my styles, like I probably was listening to the like Kate Nash or something then, and what I was listening to back then, and then a lot of folk and like Led Zeppelin and stuff. I was discovering music, and then I just kind of still related to it years later, I suppose. Like, and then like Hermit, the first single, was about like kind of being mad at people and the whole country for not like reaching out, and that's basically what the EP is about a lot, actually. Like it's just kind of me being mad at the world, I suppose, and the whole system, how it's just affect. And I've had people in my family and personal experiences like through the years that have had really bad mental health, and just seen from like the age of 9. So kind of grown up with it, and just felt like the support system wasn't there for like me and my family and stuff. So it's kind of like an EP piece of work about that, my experience through it, and also looking at other people, like hearing things on the news. Like I have a song about a news story that just like hit me with something to do with mental health. So that gets real dark, takes a turn. Like the Cedar Ward is the song, which is the EP title. So that's probably my favorite song from the EP. I'm excited for people to hear it, but it's a lot heavier and more like weird compared to the first two songs. So but it's me basically being like, I'm so mad at you. You didn't help any of us. Like, so hopefully my next piece of work I'll have all that kind of anger,
I don't know,
cleanse out of me.
just be you, just be you,
Yeah.
just be you forever, whatever way that takes. Like I'm happy with it. So yeah, I was going to ask what your favorite song of yours is, and you just answered it. So that cuts one of my questions.
Sorry, yeah.
No,
that's it.
Perfect. So like the EP is going to be coming out. I'm really, really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I have certain like deadlines and stuff, but I just don't know how it's gonna go. We don't know. Do we?
No.
I would like to get an actual video done for the title track. I don't know if I'm gonna go animation because I want to really show like an insane amount of emotion, like whether it's myself or I get an actor in for an actress, like but I'm definitely gonna get dark and raw with it, like we'll see. Hopefully it'll definitely be out soon. Soon anyway, we'll see what happens. We'll quickly do it when we're allowed.
Exactly. I think that's what I'd recommend to anyone. If you're looking to do a music video, a photo shoot, or record something,
Yeah.
make sure you do it within the next little free spot that we have.
Yeah, that's
just
it.
run, like run.
I know. Oh. Like I was asked to play that Whelan's ones to watch, and they said it would be like January and February and March. I'm like, oh, have they forgotten about us? Like, I'm like, shit. And he was like, oh, musicians are still allowed to certain amount of live stream gigs and stuff, but like two of the guys that I play with like have family that would be very vulnerable that they want to visit or live with, like, and I don't want to put that on them. So I was like, yeah, I could do it acoustic now that like I'm not living with anyone that would be vulnerable and stuff. But I was like, that's not my thing anymore. Like I kind of want to have that whole full live heavy sound, like, so
yeah, I think follow your gut on that one and give it.
Yeah, hopefully we still get asked to play anything that was asked. I'll be chasing up people anyway.
Yeah, just chase people up, Andy. No, but it's true. It's really hard. It's like, do I take the opportunity and water down what I am, or do I wait for the right time? And that must be a really hard struggle for all musicians right now. Like, I don't know how you guys are doing it. Like, I barely manage. It's like,
yeah, I'd say it is, and I props to anyone that has still been able to do it. I know like some people have moved in together, like bands, and to try still be able to jam and get that buzz, and or like they've figured out their own way, or like doing jams online and stuff. Like that just doesn't work for me with the kids. Like just too loud, trying to get them to be, and getting like babysitters and stuff. Like you can't be. I just couldn't have everyone mixing and stuff. So I don't want to be putting anyone in any danger just for the sake of music. But even though it is important to me, like people are probably more important, so that's the thing. So all in good time. There's loads of time to get it all done. So
I really believe in the perfect timing of everything. So everything for a reason and everything at the right time. So I trust that you should trust your intuition. And I think that's amazing.
That's great. Thanks.
You're welcome. And so far you've been getting it right and nailing it. So I have extra reinforcement in the fact that you're going to do fine. Look, this is going to pass. I mean, I can't tell you when. I just know that it will.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to be super awkward when it passes. I don't even know how I'm going to be able to be around people anymore. But
no, the absolute fear. Like just even talking to you, I was like, oh God, like I'm freaking myself out. Like, but obviously it was fine. At least you were sound, lucky enough.
And you were really sound to let that bed thing just.
That was something that kind of calmed me down a bit. I was like, right, get your shit together. Like, stop being so nervous.
No, I really enjoyed our interview. So before I start recording, is there anything you'd like to add to the interview yourself, Andy?
Um, Not really. Like I hope you're all okay and just keep listening to music, keep confiding in each other and reaching out through music and through online stuff, we'll see each other soon. Hopefully we'll see each other soon, and hopefully you keep an eye on everything that's ANDI, and keep an eye out for new releases. I'll have a new single soon, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and then the EP will be out to follow with a new single and possibly video. Who knows? Whenever we can do it, but I hope to see you all again soon, basically.
Okay. Well, that's been a wonderful interview. I've been Rebecca Cappuccini of Viking Promotions. If you've enjoyed this interview, I have 120 other ones on my YouTube channel, and I think you should watch them. They're mostly Irish industry, so you know.